How's it going, everybody? There is a secret in Minecraft 1.13 that not many people know about, and I think it is absolutely amazing. It is the ability to add your own textures into the game with one little change in a block, and this is a completely stock standard thing that comes with Minecraft 1.13, and it's to do with the note block and how it reads textures. It's very simple, and I'll explain it in the most simplest terms, and hopefully you guys can follow along pretty easily. But basically, what you can do is you can add up to 250 of your own textures to the game by adding them as note block textures, and it's as I say, incredibly easy. So let's first go into the first thing. You can change between different types of blocks. For instance, I've made my own versions of these bookshelves, which can now change between the different kinds of wood types. I've added my own sorts of blocks, these little crates, which carry nether wart, carry prismarine, those sorts of things. And that's actually in my own single player world. Same as these over here. I thought this would be really cool just to have your own alphabet. And there are some limitations to this, but I thought that was pretty neat. Just some of the few creative things you can come up with, and I'm sure you guys will have tons more in the comments, I'm sure, of what you can add to this. Now, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to keep this as simple as possible, and I'm going to try and give you a quick rundown on the only two things you have to follow here, which are, if you press the F3 screen, you will see that there is over here note block, and we've got the instrument base. The other thing is we've also got the note, which is number 4. And as we, for instance, get rid of this note block, we go up, 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 and you can see that note number slowly goes up each increment, which we all know about. The other thing is that as we go across from the different types of blocks below it, you can see that it goes from bass to snare to hat to bass drum, and it just keeps going all the way along until you get to the one which has absolutely nothing under it, which is just any other block, and that is over here, which is the harp. And I like this one because it allows you to be able to put something overhanging a doorway, for instance, or something along those lines. It works pretty well, and it's also very, very cool. So those, by the way, are the only two things you have to think about. What's also very, very cool, and there's one thing that is kind of limiting about this, is we don't have the 26th letter of the alphabet. As you can see, we've got note 0, and then we've got 24 more notes after that. And the reason why we only have 25, and even though it says 24, is because 0 counts as a block as well. So if you guys ever get a bit confused, you've got 25 blocks, 0, and 24 others. That's as simple as I can put it. Now, for the rest of it, that is pretty much all you need to get your mind around. We've got instruments, and we've got 25 different variants on those instruments, which we can put any texture we want, or we can put no texture at all. We don't have to fill all of them up. Now I'm going to show you exactly how easy this actually is, and we're going to go ahead and add some textures in together, and they're going to kind of encompass all the things that these textures could possibly encompass. So if you have any issues with adding in a particular side of a block or something like that, I'll show you exactly how you find it. It's actually so simple from here on out. So I've left one texture in the game, which is this one over here for demonstration purposes, and we will add in the ones that come after it. I've reloaded the pack. So if we go around into our menu, go to options, resource packs, you'll see that's the one we're currently using, the note block variations pack, and we will open our resource pack folder, which opens up over here. Now this is your normal resource packs. If you go into whatever one you're using, I mean, I recommend just copying one over and starting a new one, but you know what, if you want to go on your own one, go for it. So what you'll do is you'll go into there, you'll go into your assets, Minecraft, and you may have a few other folders in here, but I wouldn't worry too much about them. These are the only 3 that are affecting what we are doing today: the block states, the models, and the textures. And if you ever want a bit of a flow on for how these work, so the block states folder points to the models folder, points to the textures folder. So do that in that order. Block states, models, textures. They actually go in order of them in the alphabet, which is kind of convenient, and that's the way it works. So what we've got here is we've got our textures, which we are going to add into the game, which are in block. You'll also have more files in here, but we're only using the folders in here, sorry. We're only using the folders that we want, which is this one here, which holds the acacia bookshelf, the acacia plank top, and each of these as well. So these are the blocks we're going to be adding into the game, and the ones which we currently have in the game right over there. So I don't want to get too crazy boring, like, hey, yeah, this is what we do, guys, do this. I want to keep it kind of easy, so let's go straight into it, and it's going to be super simple. Now, the first thing we have to do is go into our block states folder and get this note block file over here. And this is the file you're going to need to do. You can either just type this stuff out manually, or, I mean, if you're new to it, honestly, just doing it piece by piece will make you kind of appreciate it a little bit more and get you a better understanding of it. So we were looking at the instrument bass for note 0, as we were well aware of in there. And that was pointing into the model over here. Remember what I said. This points to models over here. When we go out into there, it points into models for the block, which will always be in there. The model of spruce bookshelf, which is right around here. And we can, for these purposes, I'm going to be just using your normal notepad, but I would highly recommend getting your hands onto Notepad++. It makes your life so much easier. But for this, I'll just do this because I know everyone does have access to something at least similar to Notepad as it is. So what we want to do is we want to add in the second variant where we go Note 1, for instance, which will be for the Acacia bookshelf. So what we want to do is we want to go and put a comma after this one here where we've got instrument bass note 0. Your best bet is to just go ahead and take it line by line for each one you use, because else you're going to land up with a whole bunch of textures that don't exist, and it's a lot more simple for you adding each texture. I guess it also just keeps things a bit easier. So let's just go ahead and we will copy this, Control C, and we'll go we'll start a new line, and we will go Control V. And just to make life a little bit easier, we will also just tab across for these to be in line, and we will get rid of that one comma there. Now that's a little tip. If you ever have a comma at the end, get rid of it, because that could be what's causing you some issues if your things aren't working. So first thing is, let's go ahead and fix this up. We all know that we have to change up our instrument from bass. Why is this not working? You're not cooperating with me. There we go. Our instrument, we have to keep it at bass, and we have to change the note to 1. And we're going to change the spruce bookshelf over here to acacia and bookshelf, because that is what the file in our folder over here, which is our models folder, is called. So we'll just go ahead and Control S to save that. And we will go over here to the acacia file over here. Now this file points to the textures that I was telling you about. So we've got this part here, which is always block cube. Don't worry about that. That's pretty much standard for every block, more or less, that you're going to deal with. Specifically with note blocks, that stays the same all the time. Textures, and then you list each of the textures. So for the particles of the block, you're going to have acacia bookshelf. So we go over here, and this is, as I say, just zooming out to make life easier. Block states goes to models. Now we're in the models, and models goes to textures. So we'll go over to the textures, and what we are looking for here is the texture for the texture for the acacia bookshelf, which we have got right around there. So it's saying the particles are going to be acacia bookshelf. The block at the bottom, so the down block, is going to be acacia planks. And then we'll go over for the up acacia planks. North block will be acacia bookshelf, acacia bookshelf, acacia bookshelf, and acacia bookshelf. I hope that makes sense, and I think it might make sense right about now. So let's go ahead and show this in action. We will go ahead and click Done, and we'll go F3 and T to reload the texture packs. Now, hopefully, if all has gone right, we should have this block as our next block there. So you see that? Just ticked over. It now says block note 1 over there in the corner, well, on the side, and it's very, very simple. So now we add the next one. Nothing there. Now to add the next one in, I want to do something a little bit different. So let's go into our block states over here again. We'll open this up, and we've added in this one here. We'll go ahead and Control C over there. We'll make sure we add in our little comma over there to separate each one. We will paste it again, and we will just keep these nice and ordered to make our life a little bit easier than what we normally would if we don't do that. So we'll change the first thing, change it to note number 2. And what we're going to do is, let's do something a little bit sneaky here. What we're going to do is we're going to go into harp, and we could do this on harp number 0 as well. So we're just going to go ahead and say instrument harp note 0. And I want to add in the birch bookshelf. So we'll go over here and we'll say birch bookshelf. And we'll go and save that, make sure we don't have that comma at the end, and we can close that one up. And now what we want to do is we want to go again into the models, because remember, block states points to models, models points to textures. And also don't forget, you always need that block folder. If ever you have any trouble, just reference another texture pack and make sure your folders are lining up with each other. So we wanted to add in the birch bookshelf. Now we'll even do another swing on this. So we've got all the same sorts of things in here, which is particle, block, birch bookshelf, all these things. Just copy them over if you have any trouble, but these should be fairly standard things. And right here, what we'll do is, instead of saying this this north block as the birch bookshelf, we'll do it as birch planks, which we know we do have in there. So we go planks, which is the same one as over here for the top for the particle and the down and up. So we'll go ahead and Control S to save that. And we know that we've put it on the half block. So if we go F3, T, and reload that one there, we should hopefully now see a brand new block. Wait, what number is that on? Ha ha ha, you got me. There we go. So it actually almost tricked me there. And as you can see, what we did there was we had the block around here, which we had the birch block with the north block facing over there. So what we've done is we've managed to show you these things, and we've also managed to show you that you can change the textures of these as well. So as we go there, we'll do that. But of course, as I tell you, you can change each side. And that is really as simple as it gets. And I apologize for being ridiculously dry with this, but there's really not much to it besides just doing this sort of stuff. It's a bit tedious, but if you want to add something into the game, look, it's well worth it. It's well worth it. You put it in the game, you won't have any troubles. Now, if I can give you some advice, make sure your comma's in the right place. Make sure you don't, you check each of your folders. Just go back, watch this video again if you have to. I recommend it if you're not very familiar with it. Just watch it again. Make sure everything's working well for you. And also, if you guys are having trouble just updating your texture pack to 1.13 in general, there is also a video I did on that just about a week or two ago. So if you guys want to catch up on that, there is also a link always in the description. But for today, I hope I have helped you out with this. Hopefully you guys can get absolutely crazy and creative with this. There are so many ideas out there for you, and I guarantee you we haven't even scraped the bottom of it. You guys are going to go crazy with this, and I would love to see what you can come up with. But for today, I will have to bid you goodbye. Thank you very, very much for joining me here today, guys. I hope I have helped you with this, and I will see you very soon.